Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of So Frail Conversations. And as you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about So Frail 3. The reason why I'm talking about So Frail 3 as the book and the writing is because I kind of just want to give a quick breakdown as to what I'm cooking up, what I'm working on and shit. You feel me? Give you a little bit of insight to it. But also because this is the, season finale. Season 5 is in the bag. This is gonna be a wrap. I'm taking a break. So one, I can finish So Frail 3. Two, I can, take a moment to enjoy life and, get away for a bit. So when season 6 comes back, I'm really not sure. But yeah, I feel like all of these things need to be done. There's a lot of things that I gotta complete as far as, missions, path, and life work. And So Frail 3 is one of those. It's like the nagging feeling is there and it's time to finish. So I'm not coming back until So Frail 3 is done. This is more so like a timestamp and a marker for myself and a reasoning to get it done. So it's like, I'm not going to say the faster I write, but the more I can put my attention into it and, stop cheating and putting some of the shit and, sprinkling some of the gems from So Frail 3 in these So Frail conversations. I can actually get the shit done and have the energy and the thrive to and the drive to finish it. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. So this is gonna be like I'm not spilling all the beans and let you know some of the shit all of the shit that's in there. But yeah, I got a few topics and shit that I really wanna just plant the seed for to let y'all know that it's coming. You feel me? Yeah, So Frail, the So Frail series as a whole, as you can tell from So Frail Conversations, it's all about masculinity, but it's deeper than just the surface level of masculinity. I feel like, you know, it's one of those things Toni Morrison said, like, if you can't find a book you want to read, you have to write it, right? In my quest to develop my masculinity and my quest to, becoming a man and everything like that, like everything that I put in So Frail was things that I wanted growing up, things that I needed growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of a bittersweet thing, when I was like, I know that my father wasn't in my life for a divine reason. I can no longer be selfish with that shit and be like, you won't shit, you left me, you abandoned me and all that shit. But it was in the healing that I had to get through with dealing with him and dealing with how our relationship was that kind of helped me to write So Frail, because I had to become the father I never had. I had to really father myself in such a way that it taught me certain lessons in life, and then it gave me a different observation of the things that we're actually dealing with as Black men on a collective. You feel me? It helped me get a different understanding of my father, and it really helped me forgive him. You feel me? Because I had to release that pain from myself for what it caused, and it was in writing So Frail. What came out of So Frail was the whole So Frail series is that, and the final piece, So Frail 3, masculine divinity. That will be the icing on the cake. That'll be the maraschino cherry on top. That'll be it. Once I finish So Frail 3, that's it. So Frail is done as far as books go. The So Frail conversations will still continue, but the books will be done, and I will not have that on my mind any fucking more. Like, this whole series has been sitting in my head since 2016. You feel me? But it was just things that had to be formulated in the processes in between time. As you've seen from So Frail, the reality of Black male masculinity, So Frail 2, toxic femininity. It was layers, and it was experiences that had to happen in order to, solidify the information and the content that had to come out with this. And so now all of the lessons have been learned, all of the experiences have been had to where I can finally put So Frail 3 into reality. So that's what I'm gonna spend time talking about, because it's the season finale. I really didn't have shit to talk about, so why not end with this and, segue into something and give myself some kind of incentive and give myself that my own internal push to put everything aside and focus on finishing this book, because, the cover's done. Everything is done. I just got to finish writing it. It's all in my head. The structure, the chapters, everything that I want to do is there. I just got to put it on paper. So, before I dive heavy into it, Be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all who tip and sponsor, and donate to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. To all who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the description of your podcast, not the episode itself, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. So as always, that's that for this, and that's this for that. So when we take this break and we come back, we're gonna dive into season five's finale, So Frail Conversations, So Frail 3. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back on some Mace type shit. But nah, So Frail 3, right? Divine Masculine. You know, the whole conceptualization of this entire series was, well, not Divine Masculine. It's So Frail 3 is titled Masculine Divinity, right? And the conceptualization of this entire process, this entire writing phase, this entire series was developed because I had to identify and define, and address the circumstance of what our masculinity is. You feel me? And then I had to break down masculinity at first. Then I had to go and say what we're exhibiting. You feel me? All of this was based off of duality and learning different things. This is why you see the infusing parts of both masculinity and femininity. Like, you can't really, separate the two. They're one and the same. However, as men, as you know, I always say we have the predisposition for masculinity. And like I said, I wanted information like this. I wanted information like this catered to myself, catered to me, catered to how I grew up, catered to my homies and shit. You feel me? Because that's my template. That's my personal identity. That's how I'm rooted. So it's I don't need to be trying to create a realm outside of myself. And I knew that there was a higher perspective of what we thought masculinity was. You feel me? It was more than just, protecting and providing good job, basic carnal shit. I knew that it was so much more, and it tied into the full depths and the gamut of everything. So each title, the So Frail series as a whole, just came about because of the time in which, I ain't gonna say it was a joke, but the titling of it was a joke because it was at a time when everybody masculinity so fragile, masculinity so frail. And I'm watching the epochs, not the epochs, because that's too much time, but I'm watching the little eras of time in which I released these books and how things have been changing and how masculinity has been attacked more so than it's ever been. And I watched transitions happen in the last 5-6 years, and it's damn, bro, I feel like this is needed. You feel me? And it's just so happens every time I dropped one, it was in line with what we were dealing with, you know what I'm saying? And the battles we were having. So with So Frail, as I always say, it was a joke. It was a joke because everybody can say masculinity is so fragile. So I figured, all right, bet I got to play this game a certain way that works. Everybody was, was using, let's just tell women, let's just give women advice. We're not going to check men. We're not going to talk to men directly. It's because it's hard. You got to be masculine in order to talk to men without, being catty, argumentative and shit. Shout out to So Frail too. You feel me? There's certain dynamics in which we can't express and communicate with men. And I was from my perspective, I was I ain't never been a bitch, but it was deeper than just not being a bitch. It was just I never had that fear or that inability to decide, okay, bam, I need to speak to my brothers as they need to be spoken to. I've always had that. My big brother used to always tell me, he said, man, if I can count on you to do something, it's always going to be to tell the truth. He said, you are truly a realist. He said, you're not going. He said, man, whatever you say, you stand on that shit, you know? And it's like writing So Frail was more so I realized that I can talk about it. I can make images. I can do all that, but I needed something that's going to last. You feel me? So, and I also, leverage that. Like the reason why, the first one's titled So Frail Reality, the Black Male Masculinity, is mainly because I needed to address two situations. I needed to address two situations. One, I heard a quote, I want to say it was Farrakhan, but he was like, no nation can rise as high as its women. I'm like, damn, bro. So in the time in which we would like I said, everybody was masculinity this, masculinity's trash, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, cool. The first dynamic of that was like, yo, get into the hands of women. Right? Get into the hands of women. How? Give a catchy ass title to make them think we talking shit about men. I knew what it was gonna be. And I knew once the women read it, it was like, bruh, I knew they were going to, because I know how Black women operate well, because like I really like women. Like it's not just like vagina's perfect, don't get me wrong, but I like women more than I like vagina. So I know women. I know how they're gonna respond to certain shit. So I was like, when I write So Frail, I'm gonna target and I'm gonna market the women because I know they're gonna read it off the title. Right. And they're going to put it in the hands of the men that need to read it. You feel me? Especially the Black women in our spaces. So it's like I factored that in. My plan worked. It worked just the way I needed it to work, because every woman that I know that has bought my book, like I said, I can tell from the jump. It was like, yeah, we talk about these fuck boys and about. Then they read the shit. It's like I had no idea it was gonna be this deep. There's no way in hell that you can. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, baby girl. Now they have put it on to their homies. They have put it on to their men. And there's no slight to my brothers and shit. It is what it is, though. But it started to make the women address and weed out the type of men that they were fucking with, low key. You feel what I'm saying? Low key, because it was like they would try to explain information from So Frail to him, and they were like, yo, I was explaining it to this dude and he didn't get it. Let you know right now, he either got to elevate or leave you alone. You see what I'm saying? Like my shit is designed for the future. It's designed for the generations. And I know it's going to start with the womb. If I can give the women some kind of perspective, a different perspective that says, you got to fucking change, because now we know what masculinity is. There's no more, protecting and providing. You got like, I know how to spot masculinity when I see it. And either that man is going to have to elevate or he's going to have to walk the fuck off, which now is going to help, in essence, the quality of the wombs. You feel me? In which the types of men are able to impregnate these women. Is it going to be all of them? No. Like I said, I got to think about the future. I'm planning 4 generations out, because my purpose in this is that I'm not going to be here when my I'm not going to be here when my great granddaughter is born. But how can I assure that she's going to have a man that will embody what I embody? She's going to have a man that is going to be able to do all of the things for her that she needs in life to put her in a better position. You feel me? To continue the lineages in which she's creating. I was like, I had to think that far ahead. So I said, in order to do that, I have to prepare the man for my great granddaughter. So nobody's in existence right now at this point. But to do it, I had to process 3-4 generations out, because I'm planning my wealth building, all of the shit that I'm doing, my bags and all the shit that I'm securing is for 4 generations out. It's for 4 generations out. So ain't nobody fucking up my money. Ain't nobody fucking up my resources. Ain't nobody gonna fuck up my assets. I'm not allowing that to happen. But I need to ensure that this is a reality. So my purpose was making sure I secured this for myself, to keep myself alive. And so I said, I'm going to give it out to the women. You feel me? And just like I said, like clockwork, they read it. Oh, So Frail, a reality let me find out why masculinity is. And then when you peel back the layers and you're like, God damn, and you see it everywhere. You can hear it in your music. You can see so many different things tied into it. Now you get that capacity, right? So that was the first aspect of how I was going to get it, you know what I'm saying? And know who I'd had to get it to. Black women are ripped. They tired of our shit. They tired of our shit. So it's like, as somebody who was with that shit, I know what they're tired of. And it's like, all right, we all got to make this change because it takes the village. We need the nation. We need all of this shit to be cohesively, given. So give it to the women because no nation can rise as high as women. You feel what I'm saying? But when you make women and no nation can rise as high as women, but men are always going to follow the standard of women. I don't give a fuck what you say. We have been so conditioned to carnal beings that we're always going to follow where the women go. When the women say be better, now the plot twist to the shit is that once you read this book, the information hits you. It's stuck. It's up and it's stuck. So I knew what I was doing. So the women were giving it to, the men that are closest in their spaces. You feel me? Like, yo, I need to fucking this. I had a homegirl, she was telling me, she said, yeah, man, I was trying to put this guy onto your book. And I told him the title. He said, nah, my masculinity intact. She said, right then, I just let it go. You feel me? Which now segues me into my next point. Because I said, in the future, we're going to need certain men. In our futures, we're going to need certain men in certain capacities to help our communities to be in this space. And so another reason why I titled it that, because if you're not willing to face the title of a book, you're not willing to face yourself. It's just the title of a book. If you haven't even read the first page yet, the title of the book has already put something in you to make you stay away from this shit. You feel me? You're not going to be viable in the future. And I say that to my brothers with the utmost respect. But if you're not willing to face the title of a book because it triggers you from the jump, it's certain shit that's not gonna have to. It's certain shit that's gonna be. You're gonna be hindered in certain shit. You feel me? But at the same time, I know that because you're not able to face the title of a book, this now is going to weed out the future potential of who my great granddaughter can marry. You feel me? So you're not willing to face the title of a book. I don't have to worry about the kids that you create. You feel me? I don't have to worry about your great grandchildren, your grandchildren, however it's going to play out. I don't have to worry about them because I already know how their lineage is going to turn out. In essence. Now, I'm not saying this book is an end all be all. This is a tell all thing, but this is one of the only books, if not the only book, that is actually, no, I'm going to say it. This is the only book from the masculine's perspective, from the male's perspective as Black men speaking, that is doing what I'm doing. This is not downplaying and saying women think like us. We not changing. No, this is like, yo, here's the accountability piece. Nigga, we need to change. It's what it is. We got to change. You feel me? Everybody's not going to change in this generation, but as long as the seeds are planted, they'll take root. Like I said, I had young bulls and shit when I was in Philly, 18, 19 years old. Young homie told me, man, I don't even read books, bro, but I finished yours. He said, and yo, you was right. I got to get out of these streets. And nowhere in the book did I ever say get out of the streets. I didn't say shit. I just provided perspective. You feel me? I've had other dudes read the book and shit's like, yo, I think we need to hold a mirror up to this shit. Well, hold a mirror up to it, bitch. Bring your shit. Because you feel me? You seeing the tip of the iceberg. We can go the distance with this shit, but we're going to publicize it. We're going to make it live. Because if your attempt is to slander me, if your attempt is to try to make me look bad, we're going to put it on camera. We're going to put it on Front Street. We're going to let it see. If you want to debate, you want to talk about it, we can do that. Because you're going to see everything that I talk about in So Frail in the entire series. But again, the purpose in that was, like I said, that titling So Frail as a whole is to keep away from the people who ain't supposed to have it. I don't want them to have it. You feel me? I don't want them to have it. I don't want anybody who's willing to stay comfortable in the bullshit that we in. You feel me? That's just not my thing. So, like I said, off rip, if you can't face the title of the book, I already know you're not willing. You're not looking for personal growth. You're not willing to make that necessary change. You feel me? You're not really willing to develop. And yeah, it's, more women are reading your book than men. That's a motherfucking lie. That's what you perceive, which is now why I'm gonna get into the second part, which is why I was like, all right, So Frail II, So Frail II, I got to switch the game up a little bit. And now everything was cultural. I tap into the culture well. You feel what I'm saying? When So Frail was popping, So Frail 1 was popping, it was all about frail masculinity. So Frail 2, when I dropped that shit, it was right on the cusp of when everything toxic, this is toxic, this is toxic. Everything was used to be toxic. I said, all right, bet. Now I got to get the brothers in. Let me call this shit toxic femininity. Every one of my homies that bought toxic femininity thought I was talking about women. which now gave more credence to why So Frail was important. Everybody was like, yeah, man, you finally checked these chicks too. You gonna be surprised and you gonna be mad, my nigga. You gonna be mad. But a lot of shit that I broke down, it made me lose friends. Homies that read the book, they stopped fucking with me. Because a lot of the shit that I put in there, especially when I got to talking about religion and shit, nobody wants to accept the fact that religion has fucked up our masculinity. Nobody. You know, and they think, you know, it's crazy how I push people into studying their religion a lot deeper than what they've always studied. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's a bittersweet feeling for me because it's sweet on the strength that, yeah, I force you to use your mind and go do something today, but it's like, yo, imagine you follow the whole philosophy that you're just now deciding to study because I sparked something in you that made it go against it for that little brief time. You feel me? And you can't unsee the shit. Yo, ever since I wrote So Frail, like my mom stopped going to church. She read the book and she see the pastor for what he is. She was like, I promise, I encourage everybody to read your books because they need it. I said, yeah, but it's that duality there. Nobody can really face it because then it's like the main thing they want to talk about is like, you can't blame religion for how, I do blame religion for how masculinity is. I've never seen a religious man who is masculine. Just haven't. It just doesn't tie in. So when So Frail 2 was time to come out, everything was toxic this, toxic that. So I said, let me call this shit toxic femininity. I already had a following from the first one. So the sisters already got So Frail 2. The sisters that got So Frail 1 got So Frail 2, right? Now the brothers got So Frail 1. So Frail 2, because they think I'm talking about women. They read the shit, broke it down like, damn, now I gotta read the first book. So much so that even reading the second book, you got to go back to the first book to make shit connect. You like, bro, you purposely left this shit out? Yep. Because the information had not been processed fully. Like I had the whole series. I got the whole series at one time. So Frail 1, 2, and 3, I got the whole thing of what I needed to write the whole time. But I only had the experience and the wherewithal to put down the shit in pockets. You feel me? I finally have everything I need to finish So Frail 3 and to finish this entire thing, you know. But in doing So Frail 2, it was like, bruh, you topped it. Right now, So Frail 2 is my favorite one. And I told everybody, I said, yo, So Frail 2 is going to be better than So Frail 1. You feel me? And I wrote So Frail 2 from an angry space. I was in a very fucked up space emotionally. I was very mad. I was very angry. And it's reflected in that. I tried to be as objective as I could. I just couldn't feel my emotions because when I got to the Kundalini chapter, it was right around the time bullshit was popping off in the world. Motherfuckers was wearing red hats and shit and MAGA this and MAGA that. I was just tight. But again, it was tied to, you know, my understanding of masculinity. So I had to express it. We're not masculine men. We're feminine men. We're toxically feminine men. You feel me? And again, when I tell men that we're feminine, again, these are motherfuckers that I know you're not going to be able to produce any fruit that my great-granddaughter could be a part of, could be involved with. Because when I say femininity, first thing they do is, I ain't gay. I don't act like a woman. I ain't saying you act like a woman. This is why I define femininity the way I defined it. Motherfuckers like, yo, where'd you get your definition from? Bitch, I downloaded it. It came out the ethers. I've never heard this definition before. Okay, the fuck? Like, at some point, we have to realize somebody can be an initiator or something. Somebody can be a start. We have been so wrapped up in a mentality that we need precedence of everything that we don't realize we can have originality. That's one thing that Caucasian not so supremacy has taught us, to always rely on the past, always look at the past. There's nothing that you can create. There's nothing that can be made new. When I broke down the definition of So Frail and I stood on broke down the definition of masculine and feminine and stood on it, and now I can go to depths with how well I put that perspective, and it's unshakable. Motherfuckers like, wow, I never looked at it like that. I know, because you're not taught to. These are all of the things that masculinity, this is why masculinity is important. Not only that, we're going into the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. I said, man, I got to set this tone. You feel me? I got to set this tone. I'm not saying the onus and the responsibility was on me solely, but it's like, it's on all of us as men, but everybody can't see it. I just happen to be one of the ones who was able to see it. And there's so many other brothers who were able to see the shit too. And when they read it, it's like, bruh, I've been thinking this for so long. I just couldn't formulate the words. I know we all have. It was me that had to give this. You feel me? And I'm not taking that shit away from myself. Like, that's not, don't be cocky. I'm like, no, I got to be what it is. Did this shit ever show up before me? No. Will it show up again after me? Yeah, it's going to multiply, but it had to be seen first. Pun intended, my nigga. I'm sorry, that touched my soul. I like how that one hit. But yeah, it had to be seen first. You feel me? So in writing So Frail II, I was like, okay, cool. I already broke down masculinity. Now I need to break down femininity. But I'm only going to break it down from the perspective of men. I'm going to show you that we are dual nature beings. You feel me? We are dual nature beings. And this is like the process of me formulating how your mind needs to start to see us as men. We can't have masculinity without having femininity. We got to understand the dynamics and the capacities in which we're operating from. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, all the information was there. It just needed the right time to come out. Toxic femininity, it hit because everything was toxic. You feel me? So like I said, I leveraged the capacity that, my brothers are gonna read this shit and think it's talking about women. Like, that shows how fucked up we are and our perspective is towards women, and our lack of understanding of femininity as a whole from the predisposition, because we despise women so much that motherfuckers, like, more men bought So Frail 2 than So Frail 1, simply because they thought I was talking about women. They say, yo, bro, we needed to talk about femininity. I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about us, my guy. I'm talking about us. You feel me? Because we're in a time where we got to change. You feel me? So in putting that out, it kind of spread like wildfire. It spread like wildfire. Like, the shit, like, it made motherfuckers like, yo, bam, I got to get So Frail 1 now. Even the people that read So Frail 1, when they read So Frail 2, they went back to So Frail 1. I was like, damn, I see this shit differently now. I know. Because in addition to writing it like that, I also write it from a biblical perspective. I mean, yeah, I'm not using thou and dost and shit, but every religion is tied to 3 levels. You have the mythology, the ritual, and the allegory. I'm providing all 3 of those at one time within the book. This is why it's levels to the shit. And it's always so much more that you can uncover after rereading it again and experiencing life. That's what life is supposed to be about. You feel me? So Frail 2 was about toxic femininity, which is the expression in which we're embodying right now. You feel me? That's why I talked about the catty argument of the man. You feel me? Niggas who like to argue. You feel me? So much so that now when we look at our masculinity now, it's right in alignment with what's going on in the world right now. You feel me? It's about destruction. How well can we destroy? You feel me? I knew my shit was potent when Caucasian women were sending me messages about how great my book is. My thing was, y'all ain't even supposed to be reading this shit, but they were, I got a biracial son, and I now see, I never knew that this is what he was going to have to go through. I said, I know you didn't, because you didn't come from our background. You feel me? You ain't come from our background, but at least you know how your son is going to be be viewed in this world. At least you're going to know now what affects him and what's going to plague his mind and what's going to make him, be black. Or biracial, or whatever the fuck it is. But he's going to be viewed as a black man. They're going to see his hue. They're going to see his curly hair. They're going to see whatever it is, and they're going to treat him accordingly. You feel me? And now I'm noticing just the power of what it was that I've done. This is a major reverberation that I don't even think I fathomed in the beginning. Because it all started from me not wanting to repeat myself. Like, women kept asking me, why are men this way? And then when I give them the answer and shit, it's deeper than what they thought it was going to be. It was never, we just like this. Y'all got to adjust. It's like, nah, we fucked up because we've been programmed on some stupid shit because we don't know what masculinity is, and that shit's been gone. You feel me? That shit's been gone. Like, fathers have the predisposition. Fathers have the natural predisposition for masculinity, so they're naturally going to have that analysis and deconstruction within us. Mothers don't. You feel me? Mothers don't. And this is why being raised, mothers have the predisposition for femininity. So this is why when we're raised by single mothers, we be thinking, a lot of times we be thinking that the strong, independent woman is masculine. In essence, she's not masculine. She's toxically feminine, and she don't know it. That's what we embody. That's what we have learned as masculine. Being ruthless, being hard. Like, man, analysis of deconstruction has no feeling in it. True masculinity, there's no emotion and no feeling heavily involved in that shit. You feel me? It's about analysis and deconstruction. It's objectivity. Our mothers weren't that. Single mothers weren't that. But that's who we learned from. And we wonder why we became the catty, argumentative motherfucker. Or we became an emotionally unavailable motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? Like, the shit was programmed. They take the father out of the home for a reason. This is a different level of consciousness that we have to tap into. Everybody talk about a conscious community, but this is a different level of consciousness. Because you got to ask yourself what consciousness is. Consciousness is. Like, you have to really break that down. You feel me? And it's hard to break down when you don't know what you're supposed to be looking for. So when I put that shit together, I kind of just like, all right, bet. What's the final piece? The final piece is masculine divinity, which is what the theme of this episode is about. Masculine divinity. The whole purpose of the So Frail series was not just to talk about masculinity. It's to talk about divinity. And divinity, I guess I'll give y'all a piece of the chapter now. Divinity is a spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence that is created through the balance of masculinity and femininity harmonizing with one another. I didn't write it like that. I just don't remember it off the top of the head. But it's along those lines. That's what divinity is. And this is why So Frail 3 is called masculine divinity. One of the things that they always, like, when I first wrote So Frail, I had a homegirl say, yo, you need to write a version for the woman. I can't. I'm not a woman. I don't know femininity. Femininity ain't my predisposition. I have feminine essence. I know how to use the feminine essence well. Like, motherfuckers be like, how you such a creator? And do like, bitch, I know how to be feminine, nigga. You feel me? They used to always say, get in touch with your feminine side. And we assumed that it was in touch with our girly side, act like girls, be emotional, go watch The Notebook and shit. No, that's not it. The femininity is about construction and synthesis. When was the last time you seen a man create something? When was the last time you seen a black man create something other than music? It's hard. They stripped us of that shit. They stripped us of our ability to analyze and deconstruct. Therefore, we can't create shit the right way. We don't create shit the right way. So anyway, So Frail 3 is called masculine divinity because, as I said, divinity is the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence that is obtained between the harmony with masculine and feminine. I promise you, I don't think it's that long when I write it, but I'm just trying to, set the tone. You feel me? I'm a divine being. One thing we have to break the notion for, and this is one thing that I'm really trying to do, just the way I embody my motherfucking self, is that divinity, divinity and being divine is not, you're not some androgynous being who's, feel me, emotionless or some shit like that, who does not have personality and is just numb. That's bullshit. Let the conscious people, let the woke people, let the gurus and shit tell you that, and that's what it's supposed to be. Nah, I'm a divine being because I have mastered the balance between masculinity and femininity. Mastered it well. So well that I've learned to create myself, and I have created myself in such a way that by my own standard, I'm perfect. You feel me? I tell people that all the time, like, I'm perfect as fuck. They're like, no, you're not. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect when you're basing it off of societal structure. Who I was yesterday, who I was the day before, who I was last year, I am fucking perfect compared to that. Can't take that away. Now, I am imperfect to what I am supposed to be coming into within the coming years. But as of right now, at this very moment, I'm perfect. But I'm perfect because I'm divine. And like I said, we think divinity is so tied into being holy, being a saint, being a motherfucker who don't fuck up, who doesn't speak a certain way. But divine is being able to master any polarity and use it together. Both the masculine and feminine polarities, and use them together. You ever wonder why my podcast is called Profane Profundity? Balance. You ever paid attention to why I use profanity in my profundity? Because it's like, when I look at how divine we're supposed to be and we can be, we have to realize that we're still ourselves. You feel me? Before you can address and face yourself, and before you can tap into the true aspects of who you are, you have to understand the duality to bring yourself back to the singularity. Divinity is the singularity between the two polarities, and those two polarities are masculine and feminine. You feel me? It's like when it comes to consciousness, we always talk about 360 degrees of consciousness, full circle. But what about a full square? There's two forms of consciousness. You have a square and you have a circle, different forms of conscious energy, 360 degrees. So you have the finite and you have the infinite. Those two things need to be merged together. The infinite cannot be unbound. And the finite needs liberation. You feel what I'm saying? So you have a squared circle and a circle square. You have to get to the point where you now merge both of these as one. You dig what I mean? That's what this reality is supposed to be about. That's what our fathers are supposed to be teaching us. That's what the men in our lives are supposed to be teaching us. But all they teach us how to do is get pussy. They don't know how to teach us how to tap into our souls, into our essence, into our truer selves. You feel me? For my granddaughter, my great granddaughter to have a man like me, I need to be the man that I need to be. You feel what I mean? I have to ascend to the point where I'm comfortable saying I can be a father. I can be, before all of that shit, like, this is something that I'm mentioning in So Frail III. And I'm breaking down how we talk about nation building within the conscious community, within the Black community, everything nation building, but we try to start with the nation. We never start with the self because ego is there. Arrogance is there. We feel like I'm good because I'm pro-Black. You're not good because you're pro-Black. You're not good just because you're pro-Black. If you don't know how to do the shit for yourself, you can't do it for your companion. If you can't do it for your companion, you can't do it for your family. If you can't do it for your family, you can't do it for a community. If you can't do it for a community, you can't do it for your nation. You building the last thing first. It don't work. It don't work. I had to go in and figure out how I needed to be a solid figure for myself first. You feel me? I heard this phrase that said, and this is one of the reasons why I don't show my face. This is one of the reasons why a lot of my shit is so low key right now, because I internalized this at one point. I was told that a man can't truly be a leader. A Black man can't truly be respected as a leader until he has a wife, until he has a woman, until he has a family. But I was like, I mean, I get it. It makes sense because it's like but it tied into the nation shit. But I was like, I got to be me first. I got to make sure I mastered me 100% before I can even be with, then I got to make sure I can master being with the companion. So it was like one of those things, like, I'm single right now, I'm single by choice, not because I can't have or I don't want, but I know, and I had to come to terms with the fact that what I am becoming, I can't just have anybody in my space. You feel me? We talk about, and this is one of the things that gets me, because it's like everybody keeps talking about, men are not naturally polygamous. Men are naturally polygamous. We're not monogamous, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, where the fuck y'all get that shit from? Where the fuck y'all get that shit from? Nah, and they always say the shit, and I always say it always ties to carnal shit, physical shit. Why you think men have abundant semen? Because we're designed and we still have babies and shit. I said, y'all base everything off the physical. We're only designed to be polygamous to understand ourselves, to get to the process of understanding ourselves, so we can elevate to the platform in the position that our woman is our reflection. You have to know yourself. This is one of the reasons why women get stuck and end up settling, because they don't have the capacity and experience and the possibility to do and the opportunity to do what we do as men. Women don't know who they are. A lot of women don't be knowing who they are because they don't have a time to explore the opposing polarity to understand who they are, which is masculinity, analysis, and deconstruction. You feel what I mean? Polygamy is for the carnal. Monogamy is for the divine. I know that shit hit kind of hard. It hit differently. Polygamy is for the carnal. Monogamy is for the divine. And as you see how I just broke down what divine is, You don't need multiples to be divine. You need that one reflection because it is you and you are it. But you have to know yourself so well that you can provide yourself to the other person and see yourself in that other person. So like I said, in So Frail 3, these are some of the things that I'm talking about. As far as men, we got to develop ourselves first, fully, not just be financially stable. Like, and I talk about this. I talk about breaking down the chakras. I talk about literally how to unblock everything and tap in. This is going to be the end all be all. And when I finish this book, that's it. I'm literally going to give the keys on how to evolve yourself. And it's not speculation. This is experience. I do this shit. I made a quote. Well, it was a post, really. It's still a quote because it was my thought. I said, the more spiritually sound I become, the less spiritually sound I appear. Until I was able to process that shit for myself, like as far as going through my processes in life and shit, it was like, I'm like, yo, the more divine I get, the more I feel like I'm slipping away from myself. Like I become more ratchet. I become more carefree. I become more, and I realize that that's what the fuck's supposed to happen. I'm still a product of my environment. I'm still all of these things. Now I have to tap into these things from my divine essence and my divine state, right? I want all my brothers to be able to do this shit too. Without feeling like, I got to give certain shit up. Like all of a sudden, motherfuckers is on some shit. Like you become religious and shit. Like, and that's the thing about like, as far as sexual energy, I mentioned this shit in there too. As far as sexual energy, we have a perspective of sexual energy where we try to abstain from sex and refrain rather than understanding sexual energy. Like motherfuckers be thinking celibacy is hard. It is when you're carnal, not when you're divine. You feel me? I'm no longer in a lustful state of mind. The motherfucker be like, yo, how you go 6 years without fucking nothing? Wasn't it hard? It was at first when I wasn't divine. When it was just about getting some pussy. But then it was like when I started to learn what sexual energy is and the power of it, you reach a level of understanding where there's nothing that can dictate your reality for you but you. That's divinity. And I started to realize I can't just be out here fucking anything or everything. And it's like now I'm like, yo, I know that I only can fuck one thing. Like, but I know the capacity to that shit. So again, polygamy is for the carnal. Monogamy is for the divine. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspire them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise. After reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. Simple. But it's not that simple because it's the levels in which you got to get to. You feel me? We'd rather teach, you feel me? We'd rather tell women to put men on a 90-day rule than tell men to strengthen yourself with your sexual urges. Don't be out here trying to fuck everything. Again, where's the masculinity in that? Why is it so easy to tell a woman something than it is to face a man? Again, I ain't no bitch. I can tell a man something straight to his face. I can fight too. Like, you feel me? Like, it's shit. Because that's the biggest reality that we got to get to. If I break this shit down, niggas going to fight. I can't be a protector and a provider because motherfuckers want to kill. Nah. When you start to learn the different aspects of protection and provision, you learn how to maneuver. You feel me? You learn how to maneuver right. You learn how to talk to the people the right way. You feel me? I know how to meet people at the level that they at. I've tamed a lot of wild beasts. And I don't mean that in shit, calling them a disrespectful way. I mean it from the, there's a phrase that says, in solitude, they said the only things that delight in solitude are wild beasts and gods. They're the same thing. However, a wild beast is just untamed. A wild beast is an untamed god. A god is a tamed wild beast. No different. But the two need to have duality within each other. They need to understand each other. You feel me? This is why the mark of the beast in the religious text is 666. I'm in my carnal state. I'm in my beast state, mind, body, and soul. This is why the triplicate for divinity is 999. I am in my God state. I am in my divine state, mind, body, and soul. It's not hard. They just don't teach you the right way. Everybody takes the mark of the beast. Everybody takes the mark of the beast when you follow societal norms that don't teach you how to elevate yourself. You dig what I mean? But I felt like that's the importance of what So Frail 3 has to be, because I'm like, the person that I'm becoming, it ain't a doubt in my mind that like I can tell from the women that I'm involved. Like, I'm gonna toot my horn on this one, because being humble don't work as well as being aware. You know that you've reached a certain pinnacle in your life that is unattainable, that, I ain't gonna say unattainable because it's very attainable because I've attained it. You feel what I'm saying? And I come from a position of people who they say can't attain this level of self, but I have. So I know it can be done, right? And I'm showing you how to do it when I finish So Frail 3 and through all this process. But anyway, you've reached a certain level when women curve you, but they don't curve you with an insult. They curve you with a compliment. They would tell you, shit, I'm just not in the space to be with somebody like you. Damn, here I am trying to get with you and shit. And like, yo, I'm telling you like you can be. And you literally are looking at me telling me you're not in the space to be with me. You know how fucked up that is to hear that shit? Because you start to feel like, damn, maybe I am too high. What if I come back? No, that's not it. And it's not just like one time, not even two. This has been a series of situations for the last 6 years, last 5 or 6 years. Like I'm macking. Like when I say I'm macking, I'm putting all the game, making the laugh, making them feel good. We exchange shit. I just can't cross that line with you because I'm not ready for you. I didn't know how much work I had to do within myself until I met you, because of the guys that I involve myself with don't do the work that you've done. I get curved with compliments. Ain't that some bullshit? I be macking hard too. Like, you feel me? Like, nigga, we be vibing, it be feeling so good, but then it makes sense. It makes sense. It changed my perspective in that. To get curved with a compliment. Like, yo, I'm really just not there for you yet. Like, I know how much, like it was on some shit. Like, I never realized how much work I had to put in internally for myself until I met you. I'm like, damn, bro. That made me feel bad at first, but then it's like, I was like, damn, man, I kind of make you like, nah, bro, you just show me something that I really need to start working on with myself. And it's like, that's a different level, but that's divinity, bro. That's divinity. You feel me? There's ways to get to the shit. Now, this ain't no, when I drop this book, this ain't gonna be no motherfucking, oh, I'm gonna read this book. No, I'm gonna show you the work that gotta be. Now, if you don't do this work, you ain't reaching here. And you gotta continually do the motherfucking work. The fuck? The fuck? You got it fucked up if you think you just gonna read it and just emulate the shit like they did with Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady, or whatever the fucking shit was. Act like they think like a man. The men went and read that book and just used manipulative tactics over the women. Nah, this gonna make you go in, and you're gonna reach a certain point where the women around you either gonna elevate or they gonna fall the fuck off. Mind you, like I said, it's a very bittersweet thing to be in a space to deal with that shit. When a woman curves you by telling you that, I ain't gonna say they say I'm not good enough for you. They never say that. They're like, yo, I just realized that I finally got to do my inner work. It's like, damn, I finally got it. Like, when you become a standard to where women realize they got to start doing inner work, because women don't do inner work for shit, because they don't feel like they got to. Not on no arrogant shit, not on the rude shit. Like, but women never feel like they have to do inner work because of the mediocrity that they're surrounded with. You feel me? Women can be surrounded with so much mediocrity that they don't feel like they have to do work. And then they finally run into a motherfucker like, God damn. Oh, there are men out there like that. Yeah, it's a lot of us. It's a lot of us. I just happen to be the one to put the shit to paper. You feel me? They say a man that can control his sexual urges is a dangerous man. He's a very dangerous man, because now you ain't got to worry. Like, a lot of the shit that I developed was from watching the elders, watching where they fucked up. We do so much time glorifying them. Don't get me wrong, they had their good moments and shit. But we got to see where they fucked up. One of the biggest downfalls is that they was fucking with white women. Not only fucking with white women, but women in general. And rather than thinking, we were like, yo, stop letting messy hoes mess with your business. And we be thinking that women are just fucked up and wrong. No, that's not the case. It has nothing to do with the women being wrong. It has everything to do with our inability to control our sexual urges. You feel me? You feel me? We'd rather put in a situation where tell little girls that you can't wear certain things around men than telling grown men, yo, you shouldn't be looking at little girls, my nigga. You should not have this kind of you know what I mean? It's deep levels rooted in that shit. To be divine is different. You start to tap into a whole different space. And again, it's not some shit we not supposed to attain within this physical world. It's not some shit that we not supposed to have and access and do, but our shit's been fucked up. If you're operating from a perspective of toxic femininity, which is what they have programmed us to be, you can't be divine because you're not even masculine, nigga. Before you can be masculine, before you can have masculine divinity, you have to be masculine first, and you can't be masculine if you're toxically feminine. Shit just don't fucking work. But it's a part of what we're built for and what we've been programmed into being. So Frail III, I'm gonna do my best to rewrite the programming. But again, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. You feel me? I've already started the process of programming and deprogramming and recalibrating the minds. I'm showing people how to use their mind, bro. I'm showing my broskies how to tap into masculinity. I'm showing also women how to tap into femininity. You feel me? On the low, they're reading and they getting the gems and shit. They changing. But again, like I said, I got to impart this shit into the wombs, So now those sisters know who they can and can't fuck with. They got certain things. Oh, I can't fuck with that dude. He ain't even on his vibration. He ain't even on his level. Okay, cool. What's going to happen? He needs to elevate or he's going to fall the fuck off. See, the thing about our future now as melanated people, as black people, is we need to start focusing now on quality. Fuck the quantity at this point. I'd rather us produce, let's say, I'd rather us produce a new generation that's low in numbers but high in quality than producing a generation that's high in quantity and low in quality. That's what we seem to keep producing. And it's like the masses are going to win. But it's on us to start to deprogram. You feel me? It's going to take generations for this to get through. Like, you feel me? And So Frail I broke down how we can just do 300 years from slavery. And a generation is 25 years. Multiply that by the population, bro. This shit's ingrained. But we can do it in 4 generations. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not going to be around to see it. I know I'm not. But I got to continue to pass the baton. My kids, my sons, my daughters, they're going to be set with this shit. And I want them to be set with this shit. And it's going to, the same energy that the women bring to me where they say shit like, I'm not going to try to fuck with you because I know I'm not there yet. You feel me? Now, granted, there are some women who will be on the shit on the strength of, damn, I know I'm not there yet, but I'm still going to try to fuck with you until I get there. They're not really willing to grow. And at that point, I become settled. I end up settling. You feel me? And then as a person, you end up settling as a whole when you are in that capacity and you are tied to that. You feel me? But as men, our divinity is going to be tied into how well we can first develop ourselves. Then we have to develop our relationships with our significant others are trash. We got to get out of the mindset. And I'm talking about this in sexual energy as well. We have to get out of the mindset. We have to get out of the homosexual mindset. A lot of us don't know and don't want to accept the fact that we're low-key homosexuals. And we think we're not homosexuals because we won't fuck a dude. Nah, the societal structure is built to be homosexual. Again, everything you do is based off of you interacting with the same sex. You feel me? Even down in the church, the boys and the girls are supposed to sit away from each other and shit like that. That is your first experience. You're supposed to start to relate to your opposite component to realize your masculinity, to realize yourself. You feel me? So we got to break that reality and get to the capacity. This is why it's like now, like I said in the last episode, you got motherfuckers talking about trans women are real women because they're homosexuals who have not fucked vagina. No, they're homosexuals who only like vagina. And now it's transitioned to the point where I only like the presentation of vagina, what a vagina looks like. Why you think all these motherfuckers is going to the night to look like bad bitches? Because that's all that we've been programmed to look at. This shit is deep. This shit is deep. You feel me? So now, as I said, going forward, it's like the different dynamics and the different aspects of what masculinity is not. It has to come back first. We got to address and face what we are. Then it has to come back. Then we have to make it divine. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process in which I laid out the groundwork for. This ain't like me saying I made this shit up off the top of the head and no shit like that. This is the experience of life, and this is my divine connection with the universe. I was given this information. So it's on me to put it in the world how it's supposed to be put in. You know? And like I said, I got like 4 specific chapters. One in particular that truly breaks down how to do this shit. Like from beginning to end. This is shit that you were supposed to get in your religion. This is shit that you're supposed to get in your spiritual system. You feel me? Everything that I studied and I read is supposedly everybody's like, yo, it's too complex for me. All right, I'm gonna make it as easy as possible to show you how to do this shit. Not out of theory, I do this shit. I fucking do this shit. I know it's hard to believe that I do this shit because I be the way I talk, the way I act. But like I said, the more spiritually sound I become, the less spiritually sound I appear. You feel me? And it's not on no, like this is just the way it is. Like, nah, you see, how you so high but still stole down to earth. Like, this is what it is. You're not supposed to be so far that you become disconnected from the people. You feel me? And create a hierarchical system where you feel like I'm better than everybody. Now I'm just like you, and I'm gonna show you how to tap into your divine self to get to where you need to be. But if we're not willing to teach that the right way, if we're not imparting that within our boys from the jump, how the fuck we gonna create a future? You feel me? We can't even begin to sit with the self. Like now, tie that back into the shit that I do as far as entrepreneurship, as far as day trading. Like the reason why I day trade, the reason why I can't work for anybody, because I know how much work I needed to do within myself. I know how much work is going to require to actually be with the woman so we can get to that point. I know how much work is going to take for us to get to the parenting side too. We can't work. We literally have to devote every ounce of our time to each other. You feel me? Not on no love bombing shit. Don't get me wrong. Don't know we're 100% 24/7. We wearing matching outfits and shit. No, I don't mean that shit at all. Because we still gonna be our own individual selves coming together. But we need to be in a situation where I can fully be me. She can fully be her. Because that's going to allow us to develop the relationship between the two of us to be together. Like motherfuckers don't really realize how powerful that simple sentence is. I gotta be with somebody. No, you internalize being with somebody as having somebody in your space. No, be with somebody. Can you be your full authentic self with another motherfucker who gets to be their full authentic self? 9 times out of 10, a lot of people know because our personal identity is fucked up. I talk about this in So Frail 3 as well. Our personal identity is fucked up. It's so fucked up that we don't know who we are. How the fuck can you be who you are if you don't know who you are? You just know who you've been told to be. You know who you're conditioned to be. You know who you're programmed to be. And so does she. And when y'all come together, y'all don't know about each other's triggers. Y'all don't know about emotional well-being. Y'all don't know about shit about that because you don't know how to be with each other. You feel me? I had to learn this from interacting with women who were not themselves. It's hard to be with somebody who knows how to be themselves and they're in a situation where they want to be themselves. They just haven't tapped into that yet. Every woman that I've ever met, I've always told you, I only need you to be yourself. I only need one thing from you, and that's to be yourself. It's later revealed that they don't know who they are, and that's why it's so hard. I always say this. I say, I don't know how to act. I only know how to be. I'm not turning this off. I'm not going to stop being me for the sake of another person. You feel me? You have to be able to get the full totality of me to be with me. I have to be able to get the full totality of you to be with you. How many of us really don't know that shit? My brothers, a lot of us, we really don't know that shit. We define ourselves by how much money we have and how good we can fuck. That's not being. You feel me? That's not being. That's acting. You are an actor. You can only act so long before the movie's over. You feel me? You can only act until the movie's over. That's that shit that they're not teaching us. So they're teaching us how to act like men. They're not teaching us how to be ourselves as men. They're teaching us how to act like men, but they don't teach us how to be ourselves in our divine state. Certain shit just wouldn't fly. Certain shit just does not naturally happen when you are truly getting to be who you are. You feel me? So much shit gets corrupted in us. Men that are emotional, you're either going to become the emotionally unavailable man. This is what I'm talking about in So Frail II. You become the emotionally unavailable man because you've always had emotions and you thought you were gay if you had emotions. You were a deep feeler. I'm a deep feeler. You feel me? I'm a very, very deep feeler. People don't know that about me. People think I'm heartless and emotionless. No, I'm one of the most emotional, full people you could ever meet. But I learned how to control my feelings and my emotions to where they don't control me. So that's why it appears as if I don't give a fuck about shit. No, I choose what the fuck. I have the power to choose what I give a fuck about. I don't have to be positive vibes only. I don't have to be negative vibes only. I can understand a vibe and say, I don't want this vibe in my space at all because it ain't doing shit for me. I could benefit off of negative vibes just like I can, have positive vibes be to my detriment. But these are things that we don't teach because we don't have a teacher to teach it. When is the last elder you heard that can teach you how to tap into your divine space? Nobody, because these people, our elders, still think they're children of the divine. What the fuck is supposed to happen when a child grows up? Oh, I'm a child of God. I'm a child of Allah. I'm a child of whatever deity I serve. What the fuck happens when you grow up? You're supposed to become that. But again, because we're taught mythology, ritual, and allegory, well, mythology and not the ritual and allegory, we don't know at these elevating points. But again, all this shit's going to be broken down in So Frail 3. I promise you. I promise you. From beginning to end. Because it's like when you see something, you can't continue to let this shit play out the way that it's playing out. I already know I'm going to have a great granddaughter. Do you feel me? That means I have to get it right 3 times first. I have to get it right within myself. I have to get it right within my kids. And then I have to get it right within my grandkids to make sure my great granddaughter has it right. Oh, that's a heavy burden. You shouldn't put that. I got to put that pressure on myself. You know why? Because nobody else did it. Nobody else did it. At some point, we can keep crying over spilled milk, but at some point, somebody has to say, fuck it, wipe the milk up. The fuck are we crying over this milk for? I didn't spill it. I didn't spill it. It's on the fucking floor. Now it's been here for so long that it's motherfucking spoiled now. And now it stinks. And now it's been here even so long that it's become sticky on the motherfucking floor. And niggas is just keeping to walk through the motherfucker. They just keep walking through it. I didn't spill it. It's because I didn't spill it. Bitch, who cares? If it would have been wiped up a long time ago, we wouldn't be worrying about this shit right now. Last thing I want is for the future generation to look at me and say, you could have wiped this shit up and you didn't. You could have wiped this shit up before I got here and you didn't. You know why I don't want them to feel like that about me? Because that's how I feel about the generation that preceded me. Y'all let me come into the shit that y'all had already seen on the ground. Y'all already seen on the floor and you did nothing to it. On a grander scale, this shows the capacity of how deep conditioning and generational curses are. We put fixing the world on the children. We put fixing the world on children so much so that we have created slaves out of children. Children, you have to do what we couldn't do. Rather than, I'm going to do it. So you don't have to do what I couldn't do or what I struggled to do. There's no fucking reason why a child should have to do what the fuck I couldn't do. That pisses me off. That pisses me off. When I talk to the elders and shit, they be like, yo, you ahead of your time, you this and the third. I'm fixing your fucking messes and making sure I don't make a mess at the same time. As a child. Now I'm putting this in perspective from the full gamut from as generation things go. As children, you feel me? We simultaneously make children clean up our messes and make sure they don't make a mess themselves. They're supposed to be making messes, their own fucking messes. Because of the mess I got to clean up, I don't have the luxury of making my own mess. That's crazy. That's crazy. It sounds so much harsher when you're looking at a child. Imagine a 2-3-year-old, you feel me? They're supposed to put spaghetti all over their fucking head and figure out and touch and grind in spaghetti because they're understanding what this is. You're supposed to clean up your own messes. You feel me? But now I have to clean up the messes of the priors who are still fucking here, congratulating me for cleaning up their mess. You wonder why I'm mad. Now, I'm not speaking on me personally, but I'm speaking as a collective of our culture, of our generation. We mad as fuck. We're mad as fuck, and nobody wants to pay attention to our anger. We're cleaning up messes we didn't make. And simultaneously have to clean up our messes too. I don't want that burden on any child. I don't want that burden on any generation that's following me. I don't want that burden on any generation that comes after me. So I got to fix it. When it comes to masculinity, when it comes to our manhood, now I get it. You know, we had the Ma'afa, we had the slavery and all of this other shit that put a damper on us. It interrupted our history. I get that. We ain't been slaves in a long time. I get it. I don't want to come off like I'm sounding like a Caucasian. You feel me? Oh, slavery was so long ago. But at the same time, it's long enough ago for us to say, you know what? I'm going to be the one who's going to clean up that mess and this mess too. Civil rights movement, they tried to clean up the mess and made a bigger one. Now, this generation is like, I got to fix the mess because niggas fucked up the mess again. They made a bigger mess. We have to consciously be aware that we have to break. When we think about breaking cycles, you feel me? Breaking generation curses, we have to also remember that we have to create generational blessings simultaneously. It's not enough just to break a cycle anymore. Oh, I'm going to break the cycle. Don't get so wrapped up in breaking cycles that you don't create any generational blessings. Don't get so stuck on breaking the old cycles that you don't forget that you don't allow yourself to create the new ones. Some of us are exhausted from breaking cycles that we're not even able to focus on creating new cycles. You feel me? But again, last thing I want is any young boy, any kid, any young black boy growing up in the future to look and say, somebody had the answer. Somebody had a solution to our problem. And they didn't do anything with it. They just talked about it. Not even gonna say talked about it. They just held it to themselves and said, you know what, get yours how I got mine. They just made excuses for the fucking milk on the floor. Ladies, you just gotta think like us now. We're not cleaning this fucking milk up. Shit has already been here long enough. It's sticky now. Now it blends in with the floor. Just don't walk through it anymore. Matter of fact, you can walk through it enough. It's stuck to the floor now. Who cares? So now what has to happen? This shit done got like glue, metaphorically, of course. I gotta scrub this shit the fuck up while motherfuckers still walk through it and keep asking me, yo, why you scrubbing the floor, man? That milk been there forever. That's the problem. This milk has been there forever. Y'all seen that this milk has been there forever. But rather than wiping the shit up, you just continue to let the milk sit. I had to take a moment of silence for that. I'm glad I'm not recording this episode, because if you can see my motherfucking face right now. This is why I teach the power of love being the power for betterment through correction. This is another thing that I'm going to be putting in this So Frail. I'm breaking down so much different shit. This is it. When So Frail 3 is done, I ain't going to have to do anything else anymore. My life's work will be done. At least for this part of my life. My first life cycle. You feel me? I look at how masculinity is. I look at us as men, and we're fucked up. We're fucked up. And I want that to change. That has to change. That causes the situations around us to elevate, bro. Like, we got to transform. We got to evolve. It ain't just a change. You feel me? We have to fully evolve ourselves, bro. We can't go back to this old way. We can't conform and to fit what is happening. No, we have to fully evolve, my guy. So Frail 3, like beginning to end, I'm breaking this information down as far as what divinity really is. I've realized that I said this for a long time, the revolution gonna start and end in the hood. We get so wrapped up in trying to make our boys conform to a structure that's designed to kill them, rather than promoting their divinity within themselves. We can unplug from this shit. This is why the shit keeps happening. When we can get to a point where we can walk away from the shit, people wonder why I teach day trading. People wonder why I teach so much different shit on how to make money without being tied to their system. Because it's not until we get to that point that we can truly say that we are free. As long as they still feed us, as long as they still finance us, as long as they still create the, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll never get anywhere. And as long as we believe as men, like I said, it's really my father's generation. This is one generation ahead of me. A lot of them niggas still believe the white man won't let them have shit. Again, more milk on the goddamn floor. More milk on the floor. Now I got to clean this shit up, and I got to make sure I don't make my own messes. So not just quick tangent that really has nothing to do with nothing, but has everything to do with everything, because I said this shit earlier. This is why I feel like I'm perfect. My standard for myself is perfect. Considering all of the shit that I've gone through and all the shit that I had to clean up, all of the generational shit that I had to go through within my own lineage. Then tie that into the shit that I had to compound on for the community. Matter of fact, because I talk about this in the Protected and Provider chapter in So Frail 3, coming soon. I talk about how we have to build ourselves first. Then we have to build with the companion, then the family, then the child comes in the family. So imagine how many different dynamics have to be tied into this. Not only from my own lineage of what a man was, masculinity really is. Now I have to do it from the collective as well. When it comes to companionship, when it comes to being with a woman, I have to do it from what I did not see within my own familial structure and what I did see within my own familial structure, in addition to the community and the world that I see. Bringing a child, I have to tie that into what I did see, what I didn't see within my own lineage. In addition, like, the shit keeps going. It feels like it's a never-ending cycle. So this is what I'm saying. I have to simultaneously clean up the messes that were left for me and make sure I don't make a mess myself. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. But somebody has to do it. I keep hearing time and time again, especially from women that really want to console me and be in my space and say, you know what, don't be so hard on yourself. You don't have to carry the brunt of this on your own. I have to. I have to. I get it. I don't want to. I can easily fall back and say no, but nobody else is going to do it. It's one of those things. Chris Rock said this powerful sentiment. And this is why I said this point as far as I have to, because Chris Rock said he had a flat tire or something on the highway. He said when he stood there and tried to flag people down, nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped to help him with his tire. He said it wasn't until he started pushing his car that people got out their cars to help him. Somebody got to start pushing the fucking car. It may not be my car. I may not be the driver, but at this point, I feel like, yo, I'm pushing the shit. And guess what? Other people are helping me. Other people are helping me push this shit, whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or not. I'm not doing this by myself. It just appears I'm doing it by myself because a lot of motherfuckers don't want to help because they can't. The motherfuckers who can help, the motherfuckers who will help, they do. They will. Motherfuckers who can's gonna say, yo, you shouldn't be pushing this car by yourself. Kiss my ass, bro. But anyway, I digress. So Frail 3 is like, that's it. That's the end. This will be the end. This will be the final piece that, like I said, once I put this information out, I can rest. I can literally rest. Not in the sense I'm contemplating death and motherfuckers you can. Nah, I can rest. I can really rest. My life's work will be complete. I know what I was here for. I was literally here to shift masculinity back to what it was supposed to be from time and time ago. The Aquarian age is here. Masculinity is resurging right now in front of us. The age of knowing. The Aquarius is a masculine sign. It's a masculine zodiac sign. We don't find none of that shit odd, that all of the shit is happening this way. And now the press is really, really making sure black men do not ascend to masculinity. Don't do it. Make sure they stay feminine. Make sure they stay toxically feminine. Not just from a gender's perspective, but if you lock into the carnal aspect, you'll never lock into the divine aspect. This is why you got goofy motherfuckers saying, as men, we're supposed to be polygamous. As carnal men, you're supposed to be polygamous. As divine men, you're supposed to be monogamous. Because now you realize your point in singularity. You are the other dual nature. When the two of you form that union for singularity, you are one. You feel me? It's easy to stick on the carnal side and teach people about the carnal side only. And never teach them to turn their sixes upside down to become a 9. Niggas thought Drake was just rapping. Turn the 6 upside down, it's a 9 now. Nigga, it's written right there. But now it's about to be written in a different way. And that way is going to be So Frail 3. Divine masculinity. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Feel me? Like, the passion that I feel about this shit is unreal. This is why I know this is something that I have to complete. And I've been distracted. I've been distracted. Not necessarily been distracted because I've been doing what I need to do, but I'm just going to take the time to put everything on pause. Feel me? And get it done. It's not hard to write. I have all of the information here. I just have to put it on paper, type it, and print it. The issue is that I keep tying myself to other things, like making sure my podcast is done, day trading and, doing my investing, making sure I have my sessions done. I have to, after my next few sessions that I'm in right now, I'm shutting down for the next 2 months to lock in, and I'll be done. So Frail 3 will come out this summer. It will be dropping this summer. And there will be a lot of things that I will be tapping into to give you the understanding of how to access your divinity as a man. Above that carnal shit, bro, I'm going to show you step by step, piece by piece. I realized that this is what I was here for. This is what I've been here for. Like, I looked at, they always say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I look at the shit that I've gone through, being raised without a father, you feel me, figuring out life on my own, you know what I mean? Like betrayal from my homies, cheated on by women, heartbroken by women, womanizing women. Every experience that I've experienced in my life was designed for this very reason. And it gave me the intuitive vision with my third eye being clear and, my ability to tap into the ethers and shit to get the right insight and information thoroughly to present this shit. As Hov said, God sent me to break the chains. I'm the true and living. God in the flesh. The rest of niggas is vain. I get it. But when I finish this book, that's the end. I can enjoy life. I realized so much shit in my life that it's like I need my brothers to understand it. I need my brothers to understand themselves. And it just so happened that I finally got, like I said, I finally got the missing piece on how to do it. And it's one of those things I don't like repeating myself. I don't like repeating myself because I lose the tenacity for it. I lose the drive to want to say, yo, you know what I mean? Like So Frail 1 came out in 2016. I don't have the same energy I have with So Frail 1. So Frail 2 came out in 2019. I don't have the same energy as far as the excitement. People like, explain your book to me. It's, you know what I mean? Because I've been living it for so long. It's not exciting to me anymore. So Frail 3 still has that excitement. I need to go ahead and put it down while I still have it. Because if I lose it, I'm not going to want to write the book anymore. Like I finally have all of the pieces and I need to go ahead and access it and tap in right now relentlessly and just finish it before I lose that. Because like I said, I'm teaching these things to people on a real basis right now. How to uncover these aspects of themselves, how to truly tap into their divine self and, be free. You feel me? The right way. Like everybody talks, you got to do that inner work, do the work. I show motherfuckers how to do the work. I don't just talk about it. I show people how to do the work. You feel me? That's what happens in my chat with scene sessions on my spiritual advisement side. But like I said, I got to shut all of that down. My spiritual advisement sessions are for 30 days and I show you how to access yourself. Feel me? Yeah, it took me 20 some odd years to get it. But the practice has been formulated down to a point where I can show you how to do it in a month. But then the ongoing process is still up to you. But it's like one of those things, once you've been exposed to it, that's when your conscience kicks in. Because conscience means with science, with knowing. That's what your conscience is. It's your response to knowledge. Go figure. You feel me? That's why when you know better, you do better. You get that nagging feeling. Your conscience kicks in because you know. But anywho, yeah, man, So Frail 3 is coming. It's the season finale for season 5. We'll be back with season 6. And when season 6 starts, understand So Frail will be out. If So Frail doesn't come out, neither will I return for the next episode. But I like doing podcasts. I like y'all. I like fucking with y'all. Y'all like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all fuck with me. Y'all keep me in rotation and shit. So I like fucking with y'all. So I'm definitely coming back with the podcast. I'll probably run to 10 seasons. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe more. But as of right now, I need this break so I can finish this book. So Frail 3 will be the end all be all. Not for like the world or no shit like that. But I mean, as far as the book goes, as far as the series, that's it. I'm not doing 4, 5, or 6. 3 is enough. 3 is the number of completion. The cycle will be set. And I will have planted the seed necessary to ensure that my great granddaughter can live in a world where masculinity is going to be revived. You feel me? Within the person that she's trying to be with. And I know this is going to happen because I know I'm only targeting to my culture. Therefore, somebody's womb is going to be transformed. You feel me? Another brother is going to be transformed to raise his son a certain way. He's going to change his ideals. He's going to change his, develop himself in such a way that he reaches his perfect form. You feel me? And pass that down 3 generations. So when our kids link, they're ready. I know my kid's going to be good. They ain't gonna have no choice. You feel me? They ain't gonna have no choice. But the reverberation of everything that's changing, it needs to be done. And like I said, it was spilled milk, man. It was spilled milk. I just couldn't let this shit stay on the floor no more. I had to wipe it up. You feel me? I can no longer sit and let the young kids look at the elders the way that we do. The elders fail, bro. They fail, my nigga. Even still to this day, like we have motherfuckers creating whole podcast episodes. I'm not talking about myself, but they're making whole podcast episodes, whole platforms and shit where they're telling women, they're giving women advice. They're telling women, you know, they're talking down about women, why you can't find a good man. They're not telling how to make the men better. You know why? Because it's misogyny. I talk about this in So Frail I. It's the competition between men. I'm at the phase of my life. Once you reach the level of divinity, you no longer have to compete with men. You learn to collaborate with them. Misogyny before it was the hatred for women. It's the competition between men. If I'm at the upper echelonian level, if I'm at the upper echelonian part, if I'm at the tip top pinnacle level, I don't want you here with me because you can't. I don't want you competing with me because you take away from my thunder. Can't nobody steal my spot from anywhere I'm at. Because can't nobody do me better than me. You feel me? I want my brothers to have this same energy. I want my brothers to have this same confidence. I want my brothers to be able to walk in this same vein. You feel me? Where we can be in a space where we ain't got to compete because we can collaborate because it's like, I'm not you and you not me. We literally get to be in the same space together. You feel me? I've experienced that too much in my younger age. My homeboys, they supposed to be my friends, but they competing with me low key. You feel me? I get a bad chick and shit. He want to fuck her. Like, why? Because you want to compete with me rather than collaborate. Go find a whole different girl, bro, and bring her to the party. Like, why you got to fuck with something that's like mine? I had a homie, love him to life. Still my homeboy and shit. He used to always say, he'll get a girl and be like, yo, bro, she straight. Nigga, you the one that's fucking her, not me. The fuck? No, I'm just saying, bro, she's straight, yo, because I know you always fucking with baddies. Nigga, like, do you get women for my approval? Misogyny, bro. It's the competition between men. Motherfuckers be thinking I be reaching after shit that I be saying, and then you see the shit in real time. You just never put words to it. Never put conceptualizations to it. That's how misogyny started. You feel me? It's the competition between men. And the highest value, the highest reward given to a man in any competition is a woman. You feel me? So I'm going to compete with you. And then when I'm high value and shit, I'm that upper echelon motherfucker. I don't want other men up here because now it's like it's going to shed light to my shit. Yo, can't nobody turn off scenes like, bro. And can't nobody affect scenes like that's like, I want my brothers at this same capacity. I can walk in any room and still be me. Ain't nobody gonna stop my thunder. You feel me? It ain't no may the best man win. You're not beating me in my game. You're not beating me at my shit. The fuck? So collaborate with me. You feel me? Because I know I can't fuck with you and your shit, but I collaborate with you. As long as you being you and I'm being me, now let's collaborate and let's build. And that's how we lead to the community. That's how we lead to the family. That's how we lead to the nation. That's how we build this shit. We can't do it competing with each other. I'm the only one. You feel me? Me and my niece be playing all the time. She watched some fucking show on Disney where it got her hyped up. She be like, yo, I'm the alpha. I'm the one. Every time we start playing, she say that shit to me. I'm the alpha. I'm the one. So I say the shit back. But we act like that as men. You feel me? I'm the alpha. I'm the one. Nigga, alphas aren't based off of your level. In hierarchy, bro, it's about your ecology, bro. It's about how well we connect with each other on a whole. A lot of y'all niggas just, y'all be trying to like, you an alpha or you not. An alpha is not about an energy. And I mentioned what an alpha is, alpha, betas, and epsilons, and so frail. I've been breaking this shit down for years. And when I put the icing on a motherfucking cake, that's going to be it. I'm done. I might fall into the shadows. I might just disappear from everybody. Go find me a little honey dip, have some pretty ass babies with kinky hair. Give me babies with kinky hair, the nose they blew off the Sphinx, them lips that are cool as soup, and if in the mind that'll make them think. Skate off. You feel me? You'll see me pop up at events or whatever the case may be, but for the most part, that's what I'm trying to do. I want my brothers on this level too, bro. Like, I don't gotta, like, we should not be competing with each other. We should be collaborating. They have taught us in programs to compete with each other. You feel me? Nah, bro, we need to change that shit. But we can only collaborate with each other when we have reached our levels of divinity, our own divine selves. Because it ain't no intimidation at that point. You can't intimidate me because you being you. Your soul ain't my soul. Your life ain't my life. How the fuck you intimidating me? You feel me? We all got to be able to have this confidence. We got to be able to have this and walk in this energy. You feel me? And we can do it. And I promise you, once you get So Frail 3, that's it, my brothers. That's it. The game is going to be done. If you choose to apply the information, that's up to you. But the information will be there. Horses and water, baby. Horses and water. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. And like I said, this is the series finale. I'll be back once I finish So Frail 3. You feel me? You already know where to find me. You already know where I'm going to be at. You know, I got over 100 and some episodes. So if you haven't heard everything, just re-listen to everything and I should be back by then. No, I'm fucking with you. I know y'all got some classics and shit that y'all listen to and shit, but you know, I'm taking this break. I'm taking this break, and season 6 will resume once So Frail 3 is done. So with that being said, and I hope this episode planted a seed for y'all to anticipate what's about to come with So Frail 3. You know, I'm telling you, once I finish this shit, it's gonna be it. But make sure you kiss your babies. No, I said that shit wrong. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And, you know, my brothers, our sons, they're going to need this. Like, our sons are angry because they don't have men. Our sons are really angry because they don't have men to teach them how to do the right shit. I refuse. Let's make sure we don't leave a world where our sons are angry at us. And I'm speaking on the collective. You feel me? Because it takes a village, as we always once said. You feel me? Your sons are going to be my sons in some way, shape, or form. Because if I have daughters and they interact with they're going to be my sons too. You feel me? Your nephews, your sons are my nephews your sons and shit. It's all intertwined and connected. Last thing we need is for another generation of black boys growing into black men who hate the elders because the elders didn't give them anything. I don't know about you. You can have whatever disdain you have. You can have whatever experience, expression you have. I do not want the youth to look at me crazy because I'm going to need the youth when I get old. Y'all motherfuckers ain't got to fuck with it. Y'all ain't got to realize what I'm talking about. But I'm going to need the youth when I get old, so I'd rather impart in them now. I refuse to have them look at me the way that I look at the elders. Because I wish a little motherfucker would come up to me talking about, you ain't wiped the milk up. I want them to be able to carry on. I want to be able to show them, look, you spilled your own milk. Now wipe that shit up now. You feel me? The shit's got to stop somewhere. Feel me? So why not stop it with us? So, like I said, with that being said, go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all when we come back on season 6. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.